Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-5718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work and then boom, I see courts of motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, you know. I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon. This is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick and I live to ride my AKT.
Are you looking for a way to make a meaningful contribution to your credit union? Nexa Credit Union invites you to consider volunteering your time and expertise to serve on one of the following: Board of Directors, Supervisory and Compliance Committee, or Credit Committee. Members wishing to be considered must be active members of the credit union, must have the time to commit to the duties and responsibilities of the position, be of good standing, and possess a reasonable understanding of the credit union's philosophy and operating principles. To apply, simply download the application form from nexacreditunion.com/nomination or pick up a copy at any Nexa Credit Union branch. Once completed, please send your application via mail to Nominations, care of Nexa Credit Union Limited, Corner Cross and Halifax Streets, St. George's. Or email nominations to info@nexacreditunion.com. Subject: Nominations 2023. Deadline for application: Friday, March 31st, 2023.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
At the NIS, we're constantly looking for ways to better serve the evolving needs of our population. We learn from experiences, grow, and improve. Learning from the COVID-19 pandemic, we realized a gap in our benefits that needed addressing. We are happy to announce the commencement of the Unemployment Benefit Program. This benefit provides a recently unemployed individual with 50% of their insurable income. The benefit can be claimed up to 15 days after the loss of employment and continues for a maximum of 13 weeks or 3 months after the first claim. Workers in the private sector, public sector, statutory bodies, work permit holders, and the self-employed are eligible for this benefit. While many are eligible, some conditions must be met to qualify. The person must have been an insured employee who paid at least 52 weeks of contributions at the time of loss of employment. They must also be under the pensionable age. The person must not be at fault for the loss of their employment. This means that someone who voluntarily left their job or was terminated due to theft, fraud, or dishonesty will be disqualified for this benefit. For us to verify loss of employment, the employer must provide the individual with a termination certificate. Additionally, the claimant must conduct bi-weekly check-ins with the NIS and must be actively seeking suitable employment while in the receipt of this benefit. For the full qualifying conditions of the unemployment benefit, we encourage you to visit our website www.nisgrenada.org or call us on 440-3309.
Angie, don't you know that you should not fly kites near electrical poles and wires? You should only fly it in open areas. If the kite gets stuck, it can cause power outages throughout the village.
Then I'll just pull it down, Johnny. Simple.
No. You shouldn't do that. You can get shocked. You should call Grenlec at 237 and they will come and help.
Alright.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Larry, I love the new home. Did you remember the tips we discussed?
As a matter of fact, they were very helpful. We always follow the manufacturer's guidelines, check for damaged cords, turn off electrical equipment before cleaning, and we never overload sockets.
And we always use a licensed electrician for electrical work and a certified technician for repairs.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Hello and welcome to the MTV Evening News for Thursday, 23rd March 2023. Coming up tonight, GTA launches customer service training program. NADMA facilitates annual tsunami simulation exercise. U.S. government launches youth-focused programs in Grenada. And in sports, Spice Boys in top tier in CONCACAF Nations League. We have the details of these and more after the break.
Are you into the agricultural industry? Do you want the funds to grow your business? Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans is launching the $20 million Agricultural Fund. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, and 2 references, and you will receive the funding to get the equipment, tools, products, staffing, and services to grow your business. Plus, you pay nothing down, get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and convenient hassle-free service. Don't hesitate. Apply today at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com or call 405-1257 or 405-3180. Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans. Every day we help businesses succeed.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News comes to you compliment Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever you road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Nexa, 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 right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Good evening. With the news in detail, I am Troy Gill. The Grenada Tourism Authority is proud to announce the launch of the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program, a comprehensive customer service training program specifically designed to promote a culture of excellence for Grenada's hospitality enterprises. This program is an expansion of the GTA's current training program offered to frontline stakeholders.
We at the Grenada Tourism Authority want to develop a strong culture in our beautiful Tri-Island state in order to influence direction to meet and exceed customer expectations. That customer can either be you, it could be me, it could be our visitors. This can only be achieved through a serious and well thought out human resource training development plan. The Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program will consist of ongoing customer service training courses offered at different levels, from the fundamentals to the advanced. Now, each training course offered will cover 6 primary focus areas: identity and culture, visitor expectation, relationship building, the environment, honesty and respect, recognizing bias and discriminatory behaviors.
I come to the table with upwards of 35 years experience in this area. And I have been involved with leading companies here. And the only reason why they are leading is because they took the training seriously. Look at Spice Island Beach Resort. They were my first client. And notwithstanding that I work all over the Caribbean, all over Grenada, and in Boston, San Francisco, Vegas, and Miami, which is my second home, my most outstanding clients are here in Grenada. What does that say? It's possible. We need to step it up and instead dish out magical experiences. And that is why this program, Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program, is such a golden opportunity for us all in Grenada. It's a great, great initiative.
This is a pilot program. Anyone in hospitality, we want you to really encourage you to get out here. We really want to encourage you to take part in this. We want those of you who have attended the training and you see the benefits of it to encourage your peers that they really should come in, adopt this, and own this. And that way we actually move forward. You could get a beach anywhere, but sometimes it's the small things that we do that would resonate, and then encourage those persons who came and who have visited to then go back and become the best salespersons for Grenada. Tell all of their friends, all of their family, post it everywhere with pride. And also they become the repeat visitors, continuously coming in and supporting our local businesses.
Service excellence.
In an effort to ensure continued high participation in the annual Awareness Preparedness Exercise, the National Disaster Management Agency, or NADMA, held the Carib Wave Tsunami Drill on Thursday, March 23rd, within the parish of St. George. Following the evacuation exercise, our news team spoke to coordinators and participants about the importance of participating in such activities.
So the importance of this exercise and NAGMA's mandate is, of course, preparedness. We are on the trust of preparedness, and that's one of our mandates, to make sure that all our citizens are prepared for any hazard going forward. We need to come out of the focus of just hurricane and other hazards as fire, tsunami, of course, being one. And annually, the region tests our tsunami protocols across the region. And of course, Grenada is no exception, and this exercise is part of that. So as part of this, we are testing our tsunami protocols in terms of communication and also the evacuation procedure.
Tonya Hyacinth, Acting Deputy Disaster Coordinator, speaking on the importance of having these annual awareness preparedness exercises. Hyacinth explained why this location was selected as part of the St. George evacuation exercise.
And hence, that the Grandin Social Development Center was chosen as one of that mandate to test the evacuation component. But also the fact that we are having St. George's, the parish of St. George, tsunami ready. So as part of that, we are also testing to make sure that our in-nation maps and our evacuation route, whether this can be one of those routes as part of the project.
Also speaking to our news team was Arthur Pear, representative from the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA.
The scenario, we have Mount Pele, which is situated in St. Martin, exploded, caused an earthquake, and we had a slide of piece of land into the sea causing a tsunami. All right, so we got information from the Met Office indicating that Grenada is under tsunami warning, and they did indicate that we would be inundated with waves sometime at the time that they would have sent it. So we had to activate an evacuation of the school.
One of the participants, Sherry Noel, also spoke about her experience in the evacuation exercise.
Today's exercise has more or less sensitized us somewhat as to what we have to do, what are the warnings, what are the things we look out for in the event that a real, tsunami were to occur. right? So we're very thankful for this opportunity to be able to practice, quote unquote, in the event that something really happened.
The evacuation exercise saw participation from the students, staff, and teachers at the Grand and Social Development Center. Also collaborating with NADMA was the St. George's University as they used the opportunity to test their new alert and communications system. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hosten.
The U.S. government on Thursday, March 23rd, officially launched 3 youth-focused programs in Grenada as part of a collaboration between USAID, Carry Secure 2.0, OSS, and Youth Resilient Inclusion and Empowerment programs. These programs will focus on developing and providing support to at-risk youths. We get more details in this report.
3 programs, which focus primarily on developing and supporting youth at risk, were launched on Thursday, March 23rd at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort, where USAID, Carry Secure, and local government officials pledged their commitments to strengthen and work with the said youths. Speaking more about the projects was Courtney Brown, Deputy Chief of the Party of Youth Resilience, Inclusion, and Empowerment Activity.
WIRI is a youth-centered program which is focused on preventing young persons between the ages of 10 to 29 from becoming involved in crime and violence. The heart of WIRI's work is to strengthen systems that support young people to become successful adults. WIRI and the other USAID programs being launched today reflects that young people are the heart of USAID's programming. This is grounded in the reality that some 60% of the human resources of CARICOM member states are below the age of 30.
Also sharing remarks was Minister for Youth, Honorable Ron Redhead, noting the importance of interventions like these.
It means, therefore, that the interventions of our at-risk youth must take a microscopic look at the problems rather than just glossing over them. We must be clinical and precise if we are to solve these problems. That is why we are confident that if the WIRI program succeeds, it will enhance our ability to intervene, investigate, and identify the real issues of our at-risk youth and solve them.
Sharing remarks on behalf of the Prime Minister of Grenada was Permanent Secretary Carlin McQuilkin.
The opportunities to advance and support Youth for Success or OSS program implemented by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean Commission will principally focus on increasing the diversion of youth away from courts and custodial sentences, supporting the use of evidence-based diagnoses and treatments in rehabilitation and diversion, and facilitating the reintegration of youth into their respective communities after leaving rehabilitation facilities.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hosten.
Meanwhile, one young man, Adam Williams, who once described as a troublemaker after following the wrong crowd at the time, shared his testimony, noting how his life changed following his stint at the Grand Bacolet Juvenile Center.
At one time in my life, I used to be a troublemaker, disobedient and a little difficult to deal with. I wanted to be a part of the boys and so followed bad friends. Even though I knew how difficult it was for my mother, a single parent, I did it anyway. There wasn't much to control me, and so with time, I started getting into trouble at school and in the community and with the police. I was heading to failure. Finally, the last straw was laid, which landed me at the juvenile center at Grand Bacolet. As I look back on it now, I could only say that it must have been God's way of getting my attention before I drifted too far. It was at the center that my life started to change, spiritually, physically, and morally.
Williams also shared some words of encouragement to the gathering.
We need stronger role models, men and women, who are not afraid to stand for what is right and not being double standard. Smoking, drinking, cursing, fighting, and making threats are not being condoned in our presence. These practices are not right. Music is another huge factor affecting youth's behavior. We need to promote music that is positive, ban those that promote inappropriate behavior, violence especially. School dropouts need to know that all is not lost, and they can find a way to get back on track, like I did. Skills training programs with paying money incentive to give them a start in life. Our youth need to know there is hope, or else what kind of place Grenada will be.
Williams is currently a Form 4 student of the Happy Hill Secondary School who has dreams and aspirations to play sports professionally one day. An investiture ceremony was held on Thursday at the Governor General's residence, presenting awards for the Queen New Year and Birthday Honours 2022 and Birthday Honours 2021 and 2020. More in this report.
An investiture is a very special day when someone who has been awarded an honor receives their award in person from the Governor General. And in keeping with this meaning, awards were presented for the Queen's New Year and Birthday Honours for the year 2021 to 2022.
British Empire Medal on Miss Jones Joseph. Member of the Order of the British Empire on Mr. Anderson Peters. British Empire Medal on Mrs. Alison Clouden. British Empire Medal on Mr. Desmond Gill. British Empire Medal on Mr. John Wells. Member of the Order of the British Empire on Mr. George Fletcher. British Empire Medal on Mr. Evans Gooding. British Empire Medal on Mr. Leonard Peters. Officer of the Order of the British Empire on Father John, also known as Father Sean Doggett.
Governor General Dame Cecile Lagrenade commended the awardees. She says the awards is to show gratitude for their outstanding work and dedication in serving the nation.
It gives me great pleasure to preside over this investiture ceremony. Today, we recognize and pay tribute to special people and their individual contributions to our society. You, the awardees, have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and your hard work has not gone unnoticed. Investiture ceremonies are not only very meaningful to the recipients of awards, their families and friends, but also to our society as a whole.
Nikita Houston, MTV News.
That's the first segment of news. More news when we come back.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News came to you in association with Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide. The light that shines our way. Wherever your road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever your road leads, we'll make your dreams come true.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a quick pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, it can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grenlink, energizing our Grenada.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
I ain't come here for no stand-up. Megaforce Promotions is heading to the East Side. Yes, East Side Grenville at Victoria Park. Saturday, April 1st from 6 p.m. for the massive East Side Cash Money Bingo. Yes! Grenada, we're talking serious cash. We're talking $75,000 in cash to be won. What? That's right. And tickets are only $60 or $100 for two. So organize your posse for this long-awaited mega event. Victoria Park, Grenville, here we come with the massive East Side Cash Money Mega Bingo!
Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-5718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using Buddy Payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home.
The second segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union Limited. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
For your education.
for your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Thursday, 23rd March was designated World Meteorology Day, and to mark the occasion, forecasters at the Meteorological Office at the Morris Bishop International Airport broke out of their routine and journeyed to 2 primary schools in St. Andrew to share on the impact of hazards associated with the weather. Thursday, March 23rd is recognized as World Meteorological Day, and to mark the occasion, officials from the Meteorological Office facilitated presentations to the students at both the St. Andrew Anglican Primary and St. Andrew's Methodist Schools on the impact of disasters and climate change. Our news team spoke with acting manager at the Met Office, Gerard Tamer, at the St. Andrew's Methodist School on Thursday.
Well, today, March 23rd is recognized as World Meteorological Day, where the WMO, the World Meteorological Organization, takes time off to salute its affiliates worldwide and to recognize their efforts and their work. Okay? So in Grenada, we are celebrating this day by making presentations to schools in St. Andrews, 2 primary schools in St. Andrews. Okay? Based on the theme of this year's celebration, which is the future of weather, climate, and water for the generations, we thought it important to have a sort of educational slant to everything, because the parish of St. Andrews is quite prone to certain natural disasters. We always have the flooding in the Balthazar River, for example, and the flooding in the tongue of Grenville. Okay?
He says they saw it fitting to educate the young ones on the causes, effects, and prevention of natural disasters, especially in the Grenville area where the schools are located.
So as the youngsters are growing up from this area, they know the hazards. So we thought it best to educate them on the hazard, what causes, what we can do to prevent it. And seeing that this year's theme is all about the generation, they as the future residents of this community and of this nation, they first of all have to understand why the place floods, because they all experience it. Then they have to understand what can be done, or maybe come up with solutions, because in the next few years they will be the policymakers, they will be the technocrats.
He also highlighted some of what was deliberated on during the presentations.
Well, we are going to show them what it is we do to actually predict the floods. We are going to show them how we come about with that prediction, with those predictions. Okay? We're going to show them the process involved, and we're going to show them the effects of it.
The students were also introduced to several instruments used in the practice of meteorology. The week of March 13th to 17th was observed as a celebratory week at the Beacon Learning Center, as the students actively engaged in learning more about Grenada's history and cultural heritage. Speaking to our news team about the week's activities and the importance of teaching children about Grenada's culture and heritage was Principal Dr. Cheryl Barnaby Bishop. We get more in this report.
The principal and staff at the Beacon Learning Center are doing their part to help educate the students there about Grenadian history, culture, and heritage. To accomplish this, they dedicated a week, March 13th to 17th, to have a number of activities for the students. Speaking to our news team about the week's activities was Principal Dr. Cheryl Burnaby Bishop.
And we have just concluded the end of our week of celebration, where we celebrated our history and our cultural heritage. We began on Monday, 13th of March, with our official opening ceremony. On Tuesday, we went through St. George to visit the forts around St. George, some of the historical buildings. On Wednesday, we went to the museum, where we saw a story, a documentary film of Maurice Bishop and the Revolution. And in the afternoon time, we unveiled a mask at the Lagoon Road. We believe that monuments are significant. On Thursday, we had an island tour throughout Grenada. We went to the Slave Pen, we went to Leapers Hill, and in front of Old Pearls Airport. We had indeed a wonderful time.
The Heritage Week concluded on Friday, March 17th, with a storytelling session with Robert White. The students also had the opportunity to experience local foods around the school.
We have around the entire school, we're doing cooking of Grenadian food. We had breadfruit, green fig and saltfish sauce, cuckoo and callaloo, lots of things Grenadian style, morbi, lemongrass tea, we had lemon juice, gosport juice, just name it. Even coconut soup. We had fish cake, we had saltfish sauce, and so we're having a great time as we end up.
Dr. Burnaby Bishop said they believe it is very important to teach children from a young age about their heritage.
We are trying to understand the history, and we are calling for us Grenadians to preserve, to promote, and to protect our cultural heritage. Our history is very important to us, and we believe that this is a start for us as a nation to recognize who we are, understand our heritage, and move on as one Grenadian, proud to be one Grenadian, because your story, right, is my story, and my story is our story, and it's the Grenadian story.
Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostin.
We now join my colleague Nikisha Phillip for this week's top stories by the Grenada Informer.
This week, Grenada joined the world in commemorating two important annual events: World Down Syndrome Day on Tuesday, March 21st and World Water Day on Wednesday, March 22nd. The Grenada Informer congratulates all who organized the accompanying activities and made sure these important observations receive the attention they should in this week's edition of our online publication. Champ Maitland blazed to victory in Trinidad. Early morning gun explosion rocks Grenville bus terminus. No football tickets for Carriacou. Inside Carriacou, no representative for Carriacou in Union Island Miss Easterall. George and Drew promise epic master tournament. Farmer calls for improvement in water storage. Check out our website at www.thegrenadainformer.com or our Facebook page Grenada Informer. I am Nikisha Phillip.
That's the second segment of news. Regional highlights are up next.
The second segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with the Communal Cooperative Credit Union Limited. To grow with us, save with us.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Hello, Grenada. It's TGIF time again with the NLA. Thank goodness it's Friday. Every Friday in March, place 5 bets or more in a single ticket purchase on Cash 4, Pick 3 or Play Away. You automatically receive a Quick Pick inline ticket valued at $1. NLA is giving back more plays, more chances, more opportunities, and more prizes. Remember, when you play, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Promotion ends March 31st. You must be 18 years and over to participate.
Larry, I love the new home. Did you remember the tips we discussed?
As a matter of fact, they were very helpful. We always follow the manufacturer's guidelines, check for damaged cords, turn off electrical equipment before cleaning, and we never overload sockets.
And we always use a licensed electrician for electrical work and a certified technician for repairs.
Grenlink, energizing our Grenada.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Are you into the agricultural industry? Do you want the funds to grow your business? Hortz Ready Cash Small Business Loans is launching the $20 million Agricultural Fund. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, and 2 references, and you will receive the funding to get the equipment, tools, products, staffing, and services to grow your business. Plus, you pay nothing down. Get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and convenient hassle-free service. Don't hesitate. Apply today at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com or call 405-1257 or 405-3180. Hortz Ready Cash Small Business Loans. Every day we help businesses succeed.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Thinking about your new home? Think easy. Think a Republic Bank Home Easy Loan. Think affordable. Think convenience. Think Republic.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3. Republic makes home easy.
Wow, that was such a breeze.
Own your home with ease.
So whether laying that first brick or purchasing an existing home, we've got you covered. Republic Bank will get you those keys hassle-free in no time.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Apply for a Home Easy Loan today for a chance to win a cash prize. Getting your new home is easy with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Terms and conditions apply. I come here for no stand-up. Megaforce Promotions is heading to the East Side. Yes, East Side Grenville at Victoria Park. Saturday, April 1st from 6 p.m. for the massive East Side Cash Money Bingo. Yes! Grenada, we're talking serious cash. We're talking $75,000 in cash to be won. What? That's right. And tickets are only $60 or $100 for 2. So organize your posse for this long-awaited mega event. Victoria Park, Grenville, here we come with the massive East Side Cash Money Mega Bingo!
The third segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with Ariza Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
We now join Oslin Crosby for this evening's Regional Roundup.
And now for this evening's Regional Roundup, I'm Oslin Crosby. We start in Jamaica, where a St. James man who allegedly threatened to chop up a woman and her son and burn down their house is to return to court on March 29th, when the matter is expected to be heard. Seston Campbell appeared in the St. James Parish Court on Wednesday to answer to a charge of threat. According to the allegations read in court, on March 2nd, Campbell threatened to kill the complainant and her son by chopping them up and burning down their house. The court documents show that Campbell threatened to kill the complainant's son because he suspected the boy of stealing money from his house. The court has further told that the woman, who was terrified of the threat, spent the night in a bathroom until police arrived at 7 a.m. Following the reading of the allegations before Parish Judge Sasha Marie Smith Ashley, Campbell made some comments in court about what had transpired, but he could not be heard clearly. The judge then rescheduled the case for March 29th to allow the complainant to be present in court to determine how to proceed. Campbell, who is out on bail, had his bail extended. Now over to Guyana, where the parents of a 7-month-old child who died at a private daycare in Ogle, East Coast Demerara on Tuesday are appealing for justice and the immediate closure of the facility. The parents, devastated by the loss of their baby girl, claimed negligence led to her death and demanded a thorough investigation by the authorities. More in this HDP TV report.
A privately owned daycare at Ogle, East Coast Demerara is currently under pressure following the death of 7-month-old Oria Graves Sandy, who reportedly suffocated after falling off a bed at the facility and getting trapped in the sheets on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Odysseus Clement, the infant's father, painfully related to this newscast that Oria's mother, Shavani Graves Sandy, dropped her off at the daycare on Tuesday morning. He related that the child was happy and smiling. Hours later, she would receive a phone call from the school that little Oria was unresponsive.
We got a call about midday that she get panting for birth, and she was at industrial health center. And by the time mother rushed to the health center, the care she to transfer her to Georgetown. And when we reached her, she was dead. So she was dead. She died.
The father of three lamented that since the incident, neither the daycare owner nor the staff has provided them with answers about the circumstances surrounding his daughter's death. He is demanding to know exactly what transpired.
It's just so shocking because he left the baby so good, and now come back here dead. He had no sick, he had no, just left it at the daycare and just here come back dead, it's shocking. I didn't even get over it properly yet.
Clement related that just last month, the baby came home from the daycare with a swollen forehead. The infant's mother also alleged that she was prevented from inspecting the facility prior to the child's admission.
One day my daughter came with a bongi on her forehead. And the next day I got curious. I said I'm going to go and ask this woman for let me see how. So I went, I said, my mom, I would like to see how and where my child is being dwelled. So I was trying to force my way into the daycare, and she put out her hands and she blocked me. She was like, no, you cannot come in, you cannot come in. Social protection just come in every week and they just pop up on us anytime. So the babies are okay. When I look around, there are tiles all over the place. Some of them are even missing.
Now, finally, further afield, a senior Nigerian politician and his wife were found guilty Thursday of conspiring to transport a street trader to the UK as part of an organ harvesting plot. The man, who was the deputy president of the Nigerian Senate and a lawyer, and his wife Beatrice, were accused of arranging the travel of a 21-year-old man to the UK to exploit him for a kidney donation. Prosecutors said the politician and his wife were behind the recruitment of the man at a Lagos street market, and that they arranged for the victim to provide a kidney to their 25-year-old daughter Sonia in an $80,000 pound, nearly $100,000 transplant operation at a London hospital. The victim, who was transported to London in February 2022, believed he was being taken to the capital for work and that under the agreement he would be paid thousands of pounds, prosecutors said. Kidney donations are lawful in the UK, but it's a criminal offense to reward someone with money or other material advantages for doing so. The verdict is the first to convict suspects of an organ harvesting conspiracy under the UK's modern slavery laws. As part of the ruse, the victim was described as Sonia's cousin in his UK visa application, and the man pretended to doctors that the young man was related to Sonia. But the doctor at the Royal Free Hospital became suspicious about the circumstances surrounding the proposed operation and decided it couldn't go ahead. The man and his wife then tried to find more potential donors in Turkey, prosecutors said. And that's your regional roundup this evening. I'm Arcelyn Crosby.
This is the MTV Evening News. More news when we come back.
The third segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
You're watching the MTV Evening News. Sports is up next.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time. Amazing women are classy, fancy, and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes. When you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-5718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Holy Natural Spring Water is a water for every occasion. On the field of sports, at your workplace, just open the bottle and savor the pure, refreshing taste. Holy Natural Spring Water is produced in Mama Can St. Andrews and is available in all sizes nationwide. To order, telephone 444-7654 or 533-7654. Holy Natural Spring Water, Grenada's purest bottled water.
From the farm to the store to your home. Supporting farmers catering for your needs. The Food Fair Supermarket provides fresh fruits and vegetables from its 2 convenient locations for over 5 decades. The Food Fair Supermarkets, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Jesus began to teach that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected by the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again.
Whoever will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me.
Be a disciple of Jesus. Deny yourself, especially during these days of Lent. To reach the joys of Easter, embrace the cross.
Spice Boys in top tier in CONCACAF Nations League. That story and more coming up in sports.
The MTV Evening Sports is brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
Always wanted a motorcycle, but they've been too expensive. I pass in on my way to work, and then boom, I see Quartz have motorcycles outside. I'm excited. I get up one day, I go down, I spoke to this guy. I think his name was Sheena, this short, chubby little guy, you know. I purchased 2 bikes so far. It was the 150 SL and the 250 Dragon. This blue, beautiful AKT TT Dragon, this is my baby. I call her Becky. She gives me the best ride ever. My name is Storyboy Nick, and I live to ride my AKT.
Good evening, sporting fans. It's one more day before the most talked about football match in the Spice Isle, Grenada versus the United States of America in the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League. And many Grenadians and Americans alike are excited to witness this match on Friday, 24th March at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Communications officer at the Grenada Football Association, Rhea Murray, explained what the CONCACAF Nations League is all about.
This competition now gives countries in the Caribbean and in the Americas a chance to, one, play more matches, and then also it gives them an opportunity to play countries that they probably would not normally get an opportunity to play, because Grenada, just by being in this competition, has worked its way up from League B into League A, which is a top tier, and now facing the likes of the USA, facing the likes of El Salvador. So it gives us an opportunity to get better by facing teams that are higher ranked. So that's what the Nations League is all about. And the Nations League is also used as a qualification for the Gold Cup.
Murray also said the Spice Boys are now up in Group D of League A because of their players' performance over the years.
In 2019, Jamal Ray Charles led the charge really with 6 goals in our CONCACAF Nations League matches, and that took us to the top tier. And you know, so it's always wonderful to have Jamal on the team. So his efforts and the team's efforts really catapulted us to the top. So within our group, it's El Salvador and the USA. So in 2022, last year, we played most of our group games. So last June, we played El Salvador away. Then we played El Salvador home. At home, we drew 2-2. Away, we lost 2-0. And then, we lost 3-1. And then we went away to play the USA, and it was 5-0 in favor of the US.
The Grenada Athletic Association officially announced the 2023 delegation to the 50th Carifta Games. The games are scheduled for April 7th to 10th in Nassau, Bahamas, at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. The following is a listing of team members. The under-17 females are Shaphonia Houston and Talia Sampson. Under-17 males are Ethan Sam, Tariq McSween, Aidan McIntosh, Nathan Hilaire, Michael Redhead, Keelan Moses, Yazid Ferguson, and Adriel Mitchell. The under-20 females are Serena Alexander, Jamara Patterson, Kamisha Dominique, Aliyah Gidhari, Shante Augustin. The under-20 males are Elisha Williams, Rikil Telemac, Samuel Green, Jaden Phillip, Joshim Sylvester, Tygon Peterkin, Emilio Bishop, Rayvon Telesford, Cameron Thomas, and Joshua Richard. The management team that will be going with the athletes are Kwame Hippolyte, manager, Wayne McSween, head coach, Paul Phillip, coach, Lyndon Cato, coach, Kathleen Victor, chaperone, and Mario Christopher, physiotherapist. The team is scheduled to depart Grenada, Jamaica, and the United States of America on April 6, 2023. The executive of the Grenada Athletic Association congratulates the athletes on their excellent performances that grossed their selection and extends best wishes for a successful 2023 Carifta campaign. The second vice president of the Caribbean Netball Association, Laureen Bannis Roberts, is advocating for a regional conference on women in sports. Such a conference, she said, could provide valuable opportunity for CARICOM leaders and other stakeholders to hear from women in sports and address their concerns. Bannis Roberts said that women's participation in sports has been historically undervalued and underfunded, and there are still many barriers that women face in accessing and participating in sports. Roberts was a guest on sports journalist Michael Bascom's Talk Sports show on Saturday.
It should be sports that women play with the focus on netball. CNA should lead that charge and call on the CARICOM leaders to come and hear from us, please, because we are doing a great job with the female gender in sports development. And when you have better women, you have better families, you have healthier families, you have richer communities, you have better countries, you have better citizens. They have to understand that.
And that's it for this evening's sports. I am Donala Hostin.
That's the sports, the weather, and a recap of the headlines when we come back.
The MTV Evening Sports was brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
MTV Weather Report comes to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up.
I'm coming. Karim, what you doing?
Fly my kite.
Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy.
Why not? The wind good.
Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity.
Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, you can cause power outages, or even worse, you can get shocked.
Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Good Thursday evening, viewers. Once again, with your nighttime weather forecaster, meteorologist Wayne Williams. Those showers eased a bit over the north central Caribbean islands, but still one or two did occur during the daytime. We continue to see mostly sunny skies here. A bit of low-level clouds interrupted some of that sunshine at times, but the dominant weather was sunny and windy, and we're going to continue to see improvement throughout the night and into tomorrow. The haze remains at bay. Lovely clear skies to enjoy. It's going to remain more or less the same tomorrow. Just remnants of those showers moving away from the Islands. Some areas out in the open Atlantic way to the northeast of Grenada of no concern to us. We do have some shallow patches of clouds moving into the area, could produce some very light showers during the night time, but those would be mostly in hilly inland areas and they would not last long. The forecast for Thursday night is for generally fair conditions, at about a 30% chance of those odd brief inland showers, mostly localized. Winds would be easterly between 5 and 15 miles per hour with a minimum temperature of 24. The moon sets at 8:16, going to set at 8:16 tonight and rise tomorrow morning at 8:17. Generally fair conditions would continue to dominate on Friday. Easterly winds between 12 and 24 miles per hour. Seas have subsided significantly. Moderate seas with 4 to 6 foot waves in open waters. Sunrise is at 6:08, sunset 6:17. Temperature still around 30 and will feel like 32. Fair skies in both Port of Spain and Bridgetown tomorrow Friday. Mostly sunny in Kingston. Partly cloudy in Miami. New York will be cloudy with a high of 13, a high of 13 also in London with showers. Back here at home, just a slight increase in cloudiness, wouldn't be persistent. However, generally fair skies, that will bring generally fair skies for the weekend on Saturday and Sunday with a 20 to 30% chance of the odd sprinkle early in the morning and maybe in the night time, again in hilly inland areas. But mostly fair conditions would return by the latter part of next week. There is a slight chance of another slight increase in cloudiness, but no significant weather is in the area at the moment. That is it for me for Thursday night, folks. Have yourself a great night. Join me again on Friday for the weekend's forecast.
MTV Weather Report was brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. GTA launches customer service training program. NADMA facilitates annual tsunami simulation exercise. U.S. government launches youth-focused programs in Grenada. And in sports, Spice Boys in top tier in CONCACAF Nations League. On behalf of the news and the production departments, I am Troy Gill. Thank you for watching. Good night.
At the NIS, we're constantly looking for ways to better serve the evolving needs of our population. We learn from experiences, grow, and improve. Learning from the COVID-19 pandemic, we realized a gap in our benefits that needed addressing. We are happy to announce the commencement of the Unemployment Benefit Program. This benefit provides a recently unemployed individual with 50% of their insurable income. The benefit can be claimed up to 15 days after the loss of employment and continues for a maximum of 13 weeks or 3 months after the first claim. Workers in the private sector, public sector, statutory bodies, work permit holders, and the self-employed are eligible for this benefit. While many are eligible, some conditions must be met to qualify. The person must have been an insured employee who paid at least 52 weeks of contributions at the time of loss of employment. They must also be under the pensionable age. The person must not be at fault for the loss of their employment. This means that someone who voluntarily left their job or was terminated due to theft, fraud, or dishonesty will be disqualified for this benefit. For us to verify loss of employment, the employer must provide the individual with a termination certificate. Additionally, the claimant must conduct bi-weekly check-ins with the NIS and must be actively seeking suitable employment while in the receipt of this benefit. For the full qualifying conditions of the unemployment benefit, we encourage you to visit our website www.nisgrenada.org or call us on 440-3309.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Athelin Shade, also known as Waddy, of Mount Pleasant, Carriacou, passed away on Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, at the age of 92. She was the sister of Hilda McIntosh and Ayula Shade, aunt of Sarah Lynn Patterson, Cynthia Davidson, Joyce, Carly and Jimmy, Lydia, Deborah, George, Franklin, Merle, William, Victor, Valesta, Nella, Jillian, Junior and Andrew. Godmother of many, including George Andrew. Caregivers Altris Matheson and Theodora Modeste. Other relatives and friends including the Shade, Blaise and Aki families, Sheila Griffith, Godfrey McIntosh, Aini Clement, the Joseph family of Petite Martinique, Phyllis Edwards, Ruby Mills, Angela Coutain, Merle Quashie, Judith Date, Dr. Tyrone Davis and staff of the Mount Pleasant Clinic, Rosina and family, and Godwin Charles in Aruba, and neighbours of Mount Pleasant and Grand Bay, Carriacou and surrounding areas too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Athelin Shade, also known as Waddy, of Mount Pleasant, Carriacou, will take place on Friday, March 24th at 10 a.m. Funeral service will be held at the Christ the King Anglican Church, Hillsborough, Carriacou, and entombment will be at the Grand Bay Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Errol Bruno, also known as Sodas, of St. Paul St. George, former employee of the St. George's University School of Medicine, passed away on Wednesday, 8th March 2023, at the age of 72. He was the husband of Joan Bruno, also known as Teacher Joan, father of Daniel Bruno Charles, Granelle Bruno Noel, and Javon Bruno, grandfather of Jaden, Jaya, Donjay, and Malala, brother of Erlin Bruno, Everett Bruno in Canada, and Gloria Depradine in the USA, uncle of Tanya and Tamara Lambert, Dion and Garfield, Nia and Nessia, father-in-law of Lyndon Charles and Sheldon Noel, brother-in-law of Patricia Steele, Kathleen Williams, Leonie Bruno, Audrey McLean, Val Bruno, and Ingrid Jean Batiste, cousin of Derek Benoit, Carmen Lewis, James, Dorothy, Joan, Brenda, Beverly, Brian, Jean, and Cecil. Many close friends, including Keith Jilks and family, Keith Noel and family, O'Brien Robinson, Melissa Joycelyn, Shanitra Clark, Reginald Andelt, Reuben Raymond, Lyndon Thomas, Matthew and Janice Batiste, Crofton Batiste, Stanley Grimes, Denise DeCoto, Greta and Merle James, Lee, Micah and Michelle Charles, the Caesar, Grant and Bruno families. Many other relatives and friends, including Reverend Mark and parishioners of St. David and St. Paul's Anglican Church, Pastor Charles Gittins, the elders and members of the Corinth Seventh-day Adventist Church, the staff of the St. George's University, members of CTEX shareholders, staff of the Anglican High School, nurses Carol, Jolly, Bagwan, Jeremiah and Batiste, the Oncology Department, and nurses of the Good Hope Medical Station, and friends and neighbours of St. Paul's and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Errol Bruno, also known as Sodas, of St. Paul St. George, will take place on Friday 24th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Paul's Catholic Church according to Anglican rites, and interment will be at the Anglican Churchyard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Agnes Joseph of Leicester, Carriacou, passed away on Friday 3rd March 2023 at the age of 82. She was the wife of Theo Joseph, mother of Patrick and Roger Joseph, grandmother of Brittany Douglas, Liam and Dominic Joseph, great-grandmother of Eli, Rosa, Curtis and Maya, sister of Winston, James, Martin and Conrad Lewis, Laura, Linda, Dinah, Margaret and Marie, sister-in-law of Edward, Danny, Rufus, Simon, Mark, Eunice Quashie, Felicity Billy, Vena Poulsen, Olive Placid, Margaret Joseph and Marlene Thomas, aunt of many, too numerous to mention, close cousin of many including Adela and Linda Joseph, Floris John and Lionel Gabriel, close friend of Sonia Brown and Tora Steele. Many other relatives and close friends including the Joseph, John and Lewis families, the Benjamin, Douglas and Cummings families, the Jerome, Haylett and Lendor families, the Placid and Sylvester families, Ains and Virginia Benjamin, Christiane Brown, Stephen Clement, Danlin Stanislaus, Louise Lawrence and Valerie, and friends and neighbours of Leicester and surrounding areas, too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Agnes Joseph of Leicester, Carriacou, will take place on Friday 24th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Leicester Rosary Catholic Church, and interment will be at the family cemetery on the pond. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Ignatius Loftus Purcell, affectionately known as Palof or Whitehead, of Vincent St. David, who resided in the USA, passed away on Thursday 9th March 2023 in the USA at the age of 91. He was the father of Patricia Thomas, Grace Gabriel, Kent, Julian, Alistair, Fabian, and Junior Purcell, grandfather of Richard Thomas, Kenesha Gabriel, Savio and Aline, Abijah Purcell, Aaliyah Matthew in the USA, Steve, Leanne, Johan, Rohan, Ashley and Megan Purcell in Grenada, great-grandfather of Jamal and Zoe Andrew, Jaden Thomas, Kenzie Gabriel and Kamarli Purcell, great-great-grandfather of Josiah, Shiloh and Zane Andrew, brother of Raymond James and Daisy Hercules, father-in-law of Clement Gabriel, Deborah Benjamin Purcell, Durney, Lorna, Patricia and Donna Purcell, uncle of many including Douglas Victor, Pastor Judith Lett, Barbara Fraser, Kenny Victor, Lydia Buckmeyer, Willen Victor, Andre Purcell, and Teresa McQuilkin, caregiver Audrey Lett. Several relatives and friends in Grenada and Trinidad, including Curlin Phillips, Sylvia Prince, Maria Gray, the Greenwich, Mason, MacDonald, Gabriel, Lett and Radix families, Marjorie Jeremiah and family, the Purcell, Hagley, Victor, Braffett and Brazan families, the family and staff of L.A. Purcell, the parish priest and parishioners of St. Teresa's R.C. Church, and the Vincent Sports and Culture Club, and friends and neighbours of Vincent's and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Ignatius Loftus Purcell, affectionately known as Palouf and Whitehead of Vincent St. David, who resided in the USA, will take place on Saturday 25th March at 9:30 a.m. in the USA at the Our Lady of Miracles RC Church, Brooklyn, New York. Viewing will be held on Friday 24th March from 5 to 7 p.m. at Harmony Funeral Home. Arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. David Rochester Wilson, also known as Edgar, of Harveyvale, Carriacou, passed away on Sunday 12th March 2023 at the age of 75. He was the husband of Christine Wilson, father of Petrina, Helen, Paula, Kevin, Alexis, and Princess, grandfather of 20, great-grandfather of 6, brother of Anne, also known as Verilyn, Margaret, also known as Dessa, Celestina, Susanna, also known as Sue, Menelvia, Elaine, Beatrice, Keturah, also known as Narissa, and Winifred, also known as Alma, Samuel, also known as Edison, John, also known as Desmond, Winston, and Sonny. Brother-in-law of Ethlyn, Merlin, Joycelyn, Kay, Newmalane, Pat and Aliana, Joseph, Paul, Davidson, Fabian, Thomas, Hubert, Cosmas, and Cornelius. Father-in-law of Winston Hurst and Jody. Many nieces and nephews, too numerous to mention. Many other relatives and close friends, including the Wilson and Alexis families, the Foray and Mathurin families, and friends and neighbors of Harveyvale, Belmont, Bellevue South, and surrounding areas, and in the USA and UK, too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late David Rochester Wilson, also known as Edgar, of Harveyvale, Carriacou, will take place on Monday 27th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Francis Anglican Church, Harveyvale, and interment will be at the Harveyvale Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Teresa Smith, also known as Tanti and Fan, of Marley St. Patrick, who resided at Darbo St. George, passed away on Friday 3rd March 2023. She was the mother of Dean Mitchell, Charmaine Ferguson, Willan and Richard Smith in Canada, and Tessa Smith in Grenada. Grandmother of Akim and Hamid Fleming, Donnell Biko Mitchell, Giselle Brooks, Jacqueline and Alicia Ferguson, Christopher and Antonio Mitchell, Sharon Smith, Junior Strawn, Shanaika Smith, Christian Young, Nicole Smith, and Ralph Joseph. Great-grandmother of 16. Mother-in-law of Ralph Happy Joseph, Leroy, Cathian, Ligraceria, and Cecil. Many brothers and sisters, including the Smart family of Mountrich and Althea Jones of Marley. Nieces and nephews, including Peter Govis Jones, Gosling Matthew, and Lauren Regis. Many cousins, other relatives and close friends, including the Bedeau family in Carriacou and Grenada, the Joseph family of Brazan, Dr. Caliste, Jacqueline Phillip and family, Miss Evans and family, Pearl Patterson, and friends and neighbors of Darbo and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Teresa Smith, also known as Tanti and Fan, of Marley St. Patrick, who resided at Darbo St. George, will take place on Tuesday 28th March at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill St. George's, according to Roman Catholic rites, and interment will be at the Wilberforce Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Anne Monica Francis, also known as Tanti Anne, of Laurelland St. David, passed away on Friday 10th March 2023 at the age of 65. She was the mother of Kenny Francis, also known as Ken, Kellen Francis, Curlon Francis, and Andel Francis. Grandmother of 14, including Kiomel, Jahim, Kiana, Kerlona, Kahim, Kareem, Kali, Kishona, Kyla, Caden, and Jaquan. Sister of Royston Francis, also known as Guy, Gracie Francis Telesford, Denise Catherine Francis, Osbert Francis, also known as Browncoat, Winston Francis, also known as Scratch, Elizabeth Francis, also known as Lizzie, Peter Angus Francis, also known as Angie, and Benedict Williams. Niece of Doris, John, Cynthia, and Hamilton Licorice. Aunt of 31, including Catasia, Nympha, Lisa, Candia, Kizzy, Arisha, Brent, Stefan, Kenyon, Oswin and AJ, mother-in-law of Tanisha Francis, sister-in-law of Doreen Francis and David Telesford, caregivers Miss Dessa and Belinda. Many other relatives and friends, including the Francis and James families of Pedmotar, Bokati and siblings of Laurelland, the Leslie family of St. Paul's, Clement Gabriel and siblings of Pedmotar, the Gilbert family of Petit Bucay, the Licorice family of Corinth and Providence, Pastor Selwyn and Sister Angela Haling and members of the Garden of Prayer, the Blackett family of Beaton, Anthony Telesford, Dr. Devon Francis, Nurse Cox, co-workers at the SSU camp, Tasha, Sandra, Joy, Dominic, Joan Coutain, and neighbors and friends of Laurelland and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Anne Monica Francis, also known as Tanti Anne, of Laurelland St. David, will take place on Friday, March 31st at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Prayer, St. Paul's, and entombment will be at the Mount Airy Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Diane Yvonne Muriel Herbert of Mount Parnassus St. George died on Friday, March 17, 2023, at the age of 73. The funeral arrangements for the late Diane Yvonne Muriel Herbert of Mount Parnassus St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Abigail Mary Sandy of the Villa St. George passed away on Monday, March 20th, 2023, at the age of 84. The funeral arrangements for the late Abigail Mary Sandy of the Villa St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Edward Chase, also known as Robertson Redhead, Zip and Barber, of Beausejour St. George, passed away on Sunday, March 19, 2023, at the age of 77. The funeral arrangements for the late Edward Chase, also known as Robertson Redhead, Zip and Barber, of Beausejour St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Marlene Ford, also known as Mammerts of Fontenoy St. George, passed away on Tuesday, March 14, 2023 in the USA, at the age of 74. The funeral arrangements for the late Marlene Ford, also known as Mammerts of Fontenoy St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Reginald Pear of Westerhall Point, St. David, passed away on Tuesday, March 22, 2023, at the age of 90. The funeral arrangements for the late Reginald Pear of Westerhall Point, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Phyllis Ann Charles of Calavany St. George passed away on Monday, March 13, 2023, at the age of 63. The funeral arrangements for the late Phyllis Ann Charles of Calavany St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Vernetta Anastasia Gilbert of Woodland St. George passed away on Sunday, 12th March 2023, at the age of 66. The funeral arrangements for the late Vernetta Anastasia Gilbert of Woodland St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Floyd Davis, also known as Cockleg, Trump, and Robin, of St. George Estate, Lamode St. George, a former employee of Gravel and Concrete, passed away on Tuesday, 14th March 2023, at the age of 64. The funeral arrangements for the late Floyd Davis, also known as Cockleg, Trump, and Robin, of St. George Estate, Lamode St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Junior Jason Houston of Coast Guard St. Mark passed away on Saturday, 18th March 2023, at the age of 47. The funeral arrangements for the late Junior Jason Houston of Coast Guard St. Mark will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Martin Jude Barrott of Mount Gay St. George passed away on Tuesday, 14th March 2023, at the age of 67. The funeral arrangements for the late Martin Jude Barat of Mountgay St. George will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Margaret Mapson of Westerhall St. David passed away on Thursday, 16th March, at the age of 75. The funeral arrangements of the late Margaret Mapson of Westerhall St. David will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Ricky Elvis Alexander, also known as Sanchez of Malmount St. David, passed away on Saturday, 11th March, at the age of 55. The funeral arrangements of the late Ricky Elvis Alexander, also known as Sanchez of Malmount St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Danny Moses, also known as Fig, of Victoria St. Mark, passed away on Wednesday, 8th March 2023, at the age of 52. The funeral arrangements for the late Danny Moses, also known as Fig, of Victoria St. Mark, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Doris Robert, also known as Mummy Doris of Subee St. Andrew, passed away on Friday, 10th March 2023, at the age of 85. The funeral arrangements for the late Doris Robert, also known as Mummy Doris of Subee St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thank you for watching.
I just want to express my sympathy with all those of you who have lost your loved ones. We know it is not an easy piece to lose somebody that you love dearly. But death is not the end, because the Bible tells us that there is life after death. My mind goes back to a man in the Bible named David, a man who, at least he had a son by Uriah's wife, and the child got sick and died. In fact, the Bible says in verse 18 of 1 Samuel chapter 12, and it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. The child died. But that was not the end. David began a series of mourning, laid on the ground, upon the earth, and he called on God to save his son so that he can have sweet fellowship. He wanted to have time with his son. He wanted to have his son grow up to be the person that he wanted him to be. He probably wanted to play the first cricket match, or he probably wanted to go kick the first football in the field. Or he wanted probably him to climb the first tree. But yet for all, the Bible says your child died. David in himself satisfied that the sovereign God who gives and takes is able to do great things. Then David arose, the Bible says, from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord to worship. David had the hope that he would see his beloved son again. And so, ladies and gentlemen out there that are in the mourning period, pick yourself up and recognize that if your loved one died in Christ, you are going to see them again. And the right thing to do is to come to that saving knowledge, recognizing who God is, and God is going to bring you through. And so I thank you, and I trust as we pray for you, you would cheer yourself and recognize that the sovereign God takes control of everything. God bless you.